Hi friends, it's Counting Sheep, and I've got something kind of fun, I hope, tonight for you. These are little pockets of goodies that can go inside of junk journals if you're into that. My sister makes these, and so I asked her if I could play with a few of them on the channel. And I'm going to put her links below to her Instagram, which she uses the most, but she's also started a YouTube channel. So these fun little goodies have little bits of ephemera that she prints or collects and cuts up, depending, and then she kind of puts them all together in these sweet little packages. This is a little birthday card, and it can be put into a junk journal or given as a gift. And she has these little things, she said these are called tuck pockets inside, where you can, collect little pictures and write notes on them. And if it's a gift, you could write little kind of words inside and give them to someone or whatever you want. But she's made this little pocket look like an envelope. And she has some fun little 3D elements that she's put on them. This one has sweet little cutouts of butterflies. And her channel, her Instagram channel, has lots and lots of fun videos with whatever she's working on at the moment or playing with. And she'll sometimes just make them silent, and she'll move her hands slowly. She's great at the whole ASMR thing. And so it could be a fun thing for you to enjoy. But I'm going to just show some sample pieces here of her work that she gave to me that she said I could share with you. And so I've got this she will collect pictures. Sometimes she'll purchase PDFs of, I think it's called ephemera, from Etsy, and then she'll cut them, and sometimes she'll collect actual old photographs. She's always loved old photographs. So this is a fun one that's kind of farm style. She's got fun pictures on the back. I'll show you those. Playful. And then this one's kind of cool. She's cut up a paper bag and she's filled it with some goodies, and I'll pull those out. Okay. This says, because when you stop, let's see, I'll hold that up so you can see. Because when you stop and look around, this is pretty amazing. This life is pretty amazing. Sometimes it's hard to remember that. Sometimes we look around and we see evidence of things that makes us sad or angry or hopeless. But also we can look around and find the good, and I believe that's up to us. It's up to us to keep finding things to feel hopeful about. It's always there. Viktor Frankl, as we know, was a Holocaust survivor and wrote a beautiful book about that enduring will inside of us and what draws us forward in life, what keeps us going. So I'll just kind of flip through these real quickly so you can see the pictures, the photographs. We've got a little boy and a little girl standing by the cow. And some clothes on a clothesline. She'll sometimes use an acid-free stamp to add a little more interest to the edges, give it an aged look. I have always been fascinated with all photographs, not just old but new, because I think you can learn a lot about the dynamic. I'm especially fascinated when it's more than one person, because you can learn about the dynamic between those people by looking at that photograph more often than not. You can tell if there's a family photograph, if someone is more estranged. At least that's my experience. Of course, there are exceptions where somebody just couldn't be in the group, and they're standing a little separately, but sometimes it's revealing who's standing separately. I find it fascinating. Who's leaning in, body language. I've been watching, is it Oz? I think he goes by OZ, Oz, not Oz. And he's a mentalist, and he is adamant about the fact that he's not a mind reader. He's a people reader. He reads body language, and if you get him in your feed, it's quite interesting to see the detail of which he can read someone. I can't comprehend how he can read it so quickly and write it, but he has an amazing gift. All right, peaceful fall, and then these little buttons with, it looks like resin, but it's called glossy accents, and it's much faster and less expensive than resin. You can create these fun little bits she sometimes cuts out, or sometimes she'll just highlight a piece of a picture and pour some of this glossy accent in it. But this one has all these fun little pockets inside. Again, you could write so many fun notes for someone. I'll just pull out a few. Little mushrooms. She's textured, she's added ink to the edges, I think through a stamp pad, but I'm not sure. And she will sometimes make her own paper and age it, give it an aged look by coffee dyeing it and different things. And some of her videos have a little bit of a tutorial in there, both on Instagram and YouTube. So just fun, because you can write little notes for someone, or you write your own notes to put in a journal. Beautiful fall and autumn. And then you can keep a journal that's maybe a little bit more interesting. Okay. This is a bowl that my kiddo Jensen made in pottery class in high school. They had AP pottery, so they got to make lots of cool things. All right, this one has, I thought it was vellum, but it's not. My sister called it something else, and I don't know what it was. And it has this cute little card or photograph inside of a little girl hanging up laundry. Little chickens. So you can see, which creates that little element of curiosity. Butterfly wings. There's another one. The magic of autumn is in the air. The wind is blowing outside, and most of the trees have lost their leaves, but there's a few that are still blowing in the wind. And I don't know if you can hear the chimes, but there's some happy chimes out there that are loving the wind. This one has some pretty colors to it, and she made this little band with a little accent on the face of the cute little bird. And we open it up, can tuck little things in. Again, write little notes. Or let someone else write notes if you wanted to give them as gifts. I think they'd be the nicest gifts. She does give them as gifts. And I think she downloads some of her pictures from Etsy. I may have said that already. Because I made this twice, I may repeat myself in this one, not knowing what I've already said. Bird notes. I think that's cute. And it says, The Whispering of Leaves. So if you get on her channel, if it's something she's downloaded, she gives that person credit. And then you know where you can find it if it's one that you want to play with. All right. This one has a different color palette, a little brighter, a little more springy, and it has this fun bow that adds some interest and texture. And then these fun little pull-outs. So beautiful. And the back has a pretty pattern of paper. And then she's got pockets everywhere tucked in, and again, some pretty papers. Look at one more here. Oh, that's a big one. Ticket, it says. And enjoy life. It's delicious, it says on this little tab. And then this is the back. It has some of this pulled out paper that you could write something a little longer, a longer message in. And she makes this paper, I think with coffee. It's a coffee dye. Anyway, she shows on one of her videos how to make that. And it gives it that aged look. Delicate, like those old books that you open. And sometimes the pages just almost shatter because all the moisture's left the paper. All right, here's one that has some embossing and texturing on there. I think that's supposed to be on there with washi tape. I may have accidentally pulled that off, but it has some cool textures of embossing. I hope you can see that. I'll turn it a little bit and maybe you can see it. And I love that she's got these pears. Enjoy life, it's delicious. She's got that on there again. That she's got these pears in different scales and different textures. Some with stamps, some with more of a paint, and some with a whole different shape to them, size to them. But wonderful textures. And then the back almost looks like an old postcard or letter. And the tab has a nice texture to it as well. There's just a couple more. Looks like there's 3 more. This one has this fun frilly elastic. Here, I'll get that so you can see it. Elastic, lacy ribbon band. Stretchy. And frilly. And you can pull that off. It almost looks like this is an old manila envelope that's been repurposed, which I love. I love when someone can recycle and repurpose something and make it usable again. So that's something that is at least possible with junk journaling. She's got that glossy accent there. Imagine. I like that it's on a little note paper, with musical notes, I should say. And this one has a little Velcro closure. a little bit here. Yeah, I used to journal when I was young. I was really good about it, but I don't do it anymore. This almost makes you want to start again. And, even if you don't, if you just create, you give them as gifts. Pretty wonderful. So, I'll pull these out. Looks like a little Audubon bird bath. That's fun. I'll hold that up so you can see it. It's just teeny. Almost looks like little posters for a dollhouse. Bird seeds. And she's got this little tuck pocket there. And on the back, she's got this crow accented. And again, some of that note paper. It's got such a nice sound to it. One kind of fun ribbon again, and that embossed background. This one has some really cool paper on it. Looks like this would be a holiday tag. Could be. The back is just embossed paper. This doesn't just have glitter on it, it has a really interesting texture to it that I'll play with. Looks like that's just part of the card, but it's got a little tuck pocket if you wanted to add something to it or move some of these back. I'll pull these out. She's got the definition of Santa Claus on there. And a couple of pockets there, which is fun. And the definition of Christmas. I love these little charms. It's got an old-fashioned picture of Santa on there and these little tiny jingle bells. Let's see if I can get that to flip over so you can see it. You see those little tiny jingle bells? So, that's my fun little sharing for tonight. Junk journal. Grungy Stamper. You can follow her if you find it interesting. And see all of her little creations. Looks like that's a little pine cone or some grapes. All right. Thank you so much taking time to hang out with me. And thanks for stopping by. You have a beautiful evening.